There it
Hello,
is. It's on.
JoAnn. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm good.
So, explain to us where you're at.
Well, I've got the computer on my laptop on my front seat of my car so that the wind doesn't whistle through it. And I am sitting on a folding chair outside my car door. So I am in the wind a little bit, but my car door is protecting me a little bit.
Yeah, I'm not hearing it whistle through the microphone on the computer,
Yeah.
but
Yeah. So
it's
that's the whole
very,
point.
it's very surreal behind you because it's very bright white light. It's like the heavens are illuminated behind you. So, if all of a sudden you fall, I'm not going to be too worried because
You'll know I just left.
something like that, right?
That-
Okay. So, I would like to. Actually, I think we need an intention to start today's episode. Um,
How about that the intention is that we lighten everybody up a little bit today,
including ourselves.
including ourselves. Yeah, that we see the humor, we see the joy and the laughter and even the humor in our own dramas.
Ah, very good, very good.
I think if everybody could just laugh for a few minutes, everything would be better.
So we're going to laugh a lot today.
That's good. Let me tell you about my imagining yesterday.
Please.
And all I was doing was walking from my cabin to the bathhouse, and I thought, and the big wind gust came, and I thought, oh, what would Jerry think if I went sailing by and just waved as I went by?
I'm just having such a great visual because, I've not met Jerry. I don't think I've ever spoken to Jerry, but he'd be sitting there go, there she goes again, doing some weird stuff. He wouldn't, I don't think he would be too concerned.
Probably not. I know one time he saw me sweeping and he said, are you going on a trip or what?
All right, you got me laughing.
Okay, good.
Oh. All right. Well, I am going to pull from a deck called the Good Tarot. And this is the first time, this is actually the only tarot deck I own right now. And as you call it the tarot, and I've heard it pronounced both ways. And this is a deck that is done, of course, by my wonderful mentor, Colette Barron Reed, who used to, for a living, read tarot cards before she started delving into oracle cards. And she did that for decades.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and she talks about, she likes working with oracle cards now, and she's actually going to be doing another deck and a class on tarot coming up. She's always working on some project. But one of the things that she has taught me is that, at least in the past, tarot was much more predictive, and people that go to get their tarot cards read are looking for a prediction of what's happening, or should I marry this person, yes or no. And it's much more of a definitive reading. And with oracle cards, it's much more about, well, what's the story around that? What do you need to know about that? You don't ask those specific questions, those yes or no questions. It's much more global. But a lot of the tarot readers that I've come across now are less predictive with tarot. Even they're not as, this is how it's going to be. But there is that energy around, at least decades ago, or some people may still have that experience around tarot, being like the fortune teller.
Right.
Oh, don't marry him, he's no good. But now I don't know if they've evolved more. And after we pull this, I'd love to hear your experience more about how you got into tarot and the cards. I get grounded when I pull a card, because if the card's going to pick up on whatever energy I have. And so before we came on, I spent 30 minutes getting rid of all my negative energy. And, you know, I'm sitting here and I have my feet on Himalayan salt blocks. I'm going to pick one up and show you. It's one of the things I do to ground myself. And so
Wow.
I have my bare feet. I have two of these down here, and it helps me stay grounded. And you always want to be grounded when you pull a card because, like I said, it will pick up on whatever energy is around there, regardless of your question. I clear my deck, and I think it's recommended. And there's no wrong way to do this, right, JoAnn? I think that everybody just develops their own way around this. And lately, I've been clearing my deck by, you know, my decks and my guides and my higher power all know that when I pick up a deck and start shuffling, that's a form of clearing. You know, I've already told them that, those in spirit. And you know, some people you'll see tap on it or they'll blow it to clear it of the energies from the past reading or anything else it may have picked up. I keep my cards in a sacred place and I use crystals around them also to clear them. I also say the Ho'oponopono mantra. I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, and thank you. And my guides and spirits know that anytime I say that, I am intending to be as close to the divine source as possible. And so through that process of saying that, I will receive their message through these cards. So they know when I'm holding these cards and I say that, or if I'm holding my pendulum and I say it, they know that I intend to hear their message through that, whatever I'm holding. And to me, that's divination. That's a tool of divination, of divining, of becoming in touch with the divine source within you that lives outside of you that you're from, and hearing that message without your ego getting in the way.
Absolutely. Well said.
So today, then I asked the question, what do JoAnn and I need to know about today for our highest good? And I pulled the card number 21, World.
Oh, wow.
It's a beautiful card. And again,
Wow. I
you
love
can
that.
see that
I
too.
always feel like I've won the lottery if that card comes up.
Ooh, I love it. And again, I don't know a lot about tarot, but that is a major arcana card, right?
Right.
Arcana, arcana.
And I've always been told that major arcana talks about something being right there where the minor arcanas are saying, okay, this is kind of future, or kind of, but like the major is more like immediate future, this type of thing.
Okay, I did not know that.
And that's just one more opinion, you know.
So World, she's got perspective. I'm being called to shift my perspective on my life now. When I remember I am first and foremost an immortal soul experiencing life as a human being, I have no fear. I can see clearly that I am a powerful co-creator in a divine partnership with Spirit, aligning myself with Spirit, remaining unattached to outcomes. I am a conduit for miracles.
Wow. Exactly what we needed to hear, and what probably a whole lot of other people needed to hear today.
Yeah, before we started recording this, we were talking about everything that this says. We were talking about, you know, that attachment. to what's comfortable, even as much as we work on not being attached, right? It's always
Absolutely.
surprising. Um, yeah,
Well,
remaining unattached to outcomes. Go ahead.
yeah, well, and we talked about how the old world is crumbling right now.
Hmm.
Everything's changing, but
Right.
it's all changing for the good. That we talked about how it is amazing how we cling to the familiar, no matter how uncomfortable it is.
Right. Right.
And I mentioned to you that I was up at 2 o'clock this morning, automatic writing. And one of the things that was said to me, and it's, we've heard it a million times, was you must learn to stay in the moment. That way you will miss nothing,
Mm.
because that's where everything is happening, is in the moment. So I don't care if we're washing dishes, if we're mopping a floor, reading a book, it doesn't matter. Just don't be multitasking.
Mm.
Be in the moment.
JoAnn, tell us, for people that don't know, what automatic writing is.
Oh, I just sit down, and last night I said, well, I felt called to be here, so whatever, because it's like I have to, at some level, and this isn't easy for me, to just let go. And suddenly these things start coming into my mind, and I just start writing them. And I know it's not stuff that I'm making up, because it's not what I had my mind on at that moment. So people automatic write in many different ways. Some people actually hold the pencil and someone else writes. That's never been my deal. I've always heard the message, and I think they do that for me because I'm so analytical, or always have been, that I would be totally in my way if I would just sit there holding a pencil. I would never get anything.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
So,
don't know why that was funny to me, but it was. Um,
and once again, that's what's so grand about all these gifts that we come into this planet with, is there's no right or wrong way. You listen to your higher self, and at some level that it's truth. You can tell if you're getting in your way. If
right.
something says to you, you must go invest in this right this moment, or you must divorce this idiot. That's not spirit. That is not spirit.
No.
Spirit doesn't tell you what to do. It may give you, ideas around what things look like, but it's always up to you to make decisions.
So
You
tell
know,
us, go ahead.
no, I was just going to say, suggesting that I be in the moment, that's not really telling me to do anything drastic except take control of my life.
Just well, nothing drastic about that, right? Just be, um,
Yeah.
which is so difficult. So tell us how you got into, or first were exposed to tarot.
Oh my gosh. I don't know if sometimes things go on, excuse me, for so long that you don't remember. I think Doreen Virtue was the first ones that I started
Mhm.
using. And it was always a tool for me because I was always in my own way.
Ah,
I wanted so badly to connect with something bigger than myself, but I was such a control freak,
mhm.
and uh, still would like to control everything to a degree. It's a challenge. It's a lifelong lesson, it seems like. But the cards allowed me to focus on the cards, and then information would come to me.
Okay.
The card would bring forth, excuse me, the information. I love all the cards because when I ask something or draw the cards and I look at them, and it's like, oh my God, I just love you guys. You always know what it is I need to hear.
Hmm.
It's like you've got your higher self or your guardians or whoever right there pulling the cards for you, saying,
Hmm.
this is what you need to know.
Hmm.
Kind of like a different language, like the cat lays over by the water dish that's empty, and I pretty well get it that she needs some water without a word being said, right?
Right.
So, but that's how the tarot is. And the pendulum. Love the pendulum. You can get in the way of both those things.
Right.
You have to be willing to, put it out there, ask for guidance, just like you did, all the things you do to ground yourself. And it's not something you just say, oh God, I need a card right this minute. And you don't think about it, because it will reflect, like you said, it will reflect the state you are in.
Right.
And
Right.
that's not what you're after. That. You want to get beyond that.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Very well said. Yeah. Very well said. I thought you were going to say, when the cat is laying by the empty water bowl, I was going to say that would be a good tarot card.
Yeah,
We could
it
have
would.
like a suit of cats, a suit of turkeys, a suit of, of a different animal. And then,
That's
you know,
brilliant.
an empty
Brilliant.
water bowl would have some, meaning. So I kind of, that kind of flashed through my head. So I don't know.
Wow.
I'm trying to be playful, which is not always easy for me. It's getting easier. It's getting easier to laugh and be playful, but
I hear you. I just think that sometimes people get the idea that spirituality is serious, no joking stuff.
hmm.
It's got there's a sense of humor to it, and they accept me if I walk down the road and I say, what the hell? Show me something. I've been a good girl. I've done this. I've done that. I've let so and so knock me on my ass 4 times now. You know, give me something. They get that. A lot of them were incarnated. Most of them may have been incarnated.
So you're
Maybe
talking
not.
about your guides. You're talking about your
Yeah,
guides who are incarnated.
yeah,
So they've lived in bodies as immortal souls, like the card says. Once we realize we're an immortal soul, just living in this body, it's easier to let go. And so these guides of yours know what it's like, and you just talk to them like you talk to anybody.
absolutely, absolutely.
That surprised me when you and I were first talking, when I had just started my ascension process, or was really focusing on it. And you said, just ask them and talk to them and tell them you need guidance in a way that makes sense to you. And I'm like, oh, I can do that. And it's amazing, at 55, I didn't realize I could just make it that easy for myself. It's always about having to work hard for it and prove yourself, you know? And then I had this whole concept that, because of my religious upbringing, that, you know, they would just know there's this omniscience, and they would just know. And I shouldn't say what I want, or what I need or how I need it. So I love that concept you taught me. Um,
I'm glad. I'm glad. And that makes me think about something I was told once, and it resonated a bit, that even your guides and angels, they need to be asked because they don't have total access to your thoughts, because that would be kind of interruptive. Well, I don't really like that. So I told my guides and angels, you have my permission to be in my thoughts 24/7, because sometimes I may forget to ask.
right.
And
Right.
but if it's an emergency or something, they always have the option of jumping in there. It isn't like they cannot help you. But
Right. You welcome that.
yeah, so I don't know whether it's true or not true that they can't do that. I just made it my truth that mine have got total access to my thoughts.
I
You
like
know,
it.
I have no secrets.
And I love that, you know, that concept you taught me of shortcuts. And that's what, when I started this and talked about how I clear the deck, like I already set that up ahead of time. So I don't do it, you know, every time. You know, my guides know that when I say, you know, my mantra and I'm holding a deck, you know, I don't have to say, all right, this is how I'm clearing my deck today. I'm going to say this to clear my deck. I just, it's very automatic because I've created that shortcut, as you call it.
Yeah,
You know,
absolutely.
and I'm like, oh, we can do that. And it's amazing how many rules I put around things. Um, Christine and I laugh because we were traveling once, and you know, she's kind of a princess, and she's not offended by that, which tells you what kind of princess she is. Anyways, so I'm traipsing her through the backwoods of West Virginia because I love taking a drive through cool places that I've never been, and unbeknownst to me, she was not amused. We get to this rickety, scary little motel at midnight, and she goes, "You're going to go get me a Big Mac." I saw McDonald's, a 24-hour McDonald's on, and I said, you know, you're not allowed to eat a Big Mac at midnight. And she's like, says who? But I had this in my head that was like deplorable to eat. You know, it may not be the healthiest thing, but it was this rule. Like there was a certain cutoff for a Big Mac, a certain hour. And she's like, you're not going to traipse me, you know, through all these backwoods and scare the bejesus out of me and deprive me of a Big Mac at midnight. So we joke about that, you know. Now all she, you know, like if I start, you know, saying something kind of like rigid or like, where did that come from? She'll be like, Big Mac at midnight. Um, you know, but
That's beautiful.
and I think about that with my spirit. The reason I brought that up is because with my spirituality, I do that. Like there's these rules that exist that I'm like, oh, and I don't even know I have them until I'm talking to other people, you
Right,
know, that they can point
right.
them out. So,
Yeah, it's like some people don't want other people to touch their decks.
right.
Some people don't mind. They know they can clear them.
Hmm.
Some people like to let people draw their own cards. Some people prefer to do the drawing. There is one thing I do every single time, and I've gotten to where I can stand and ask a question, a yes or no question, and my body will either go forward or backward. And that's just like being a human pendulum. You know, that's how I check for my vitamins every morning. That's how I check for homeopathics that I might need, remedies I might need, things like that. So before I do a reading, I always stand and say, am I 100% in alignment with my higher self? And if I get a no, then I do a big, it's not a big, it's a simple clearing. But that means I've picked up some energy, or there's some energy, someone's brought some energy into my home or my space, uh, anything, but it's a 2-minute deal to
Hmm.
call in the archangel realms or Jesus or whoever you want to call in to come in and cleanse it for you.
I
It's
love it.
done almost before you can ask. Yeah.
I love it. This is
Yeah.
this has been a great conversation. I know it seems like we were a little bit all over the place, but it really kind of comes together. So
I
thank you.
think it does too. I think spirituality is so unique and perfect. It's been there forever. You know, I think the tarot cards were made when people were forced not to speak their truth,
Mm.
and that's how they came about, is that's how they communicated a lot of things.
Right.
um I should research that better because it's really a neat story. But anyway, I think that's where you differ from dogma. There is no dogma in spirituality,
Right, right. And
right?
that's what I get hung up on because I equated spirituality with religion for so many years that yeah, the dogma just is automatic almost. Interesting.
Right, and that's why Wiccan, uh what's that word, starts with a P?
Paganism.
Paganism. People like to put that with negative. It's not. And American Indian, they're all one with nature.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what spirituality is, you know. Our here's church out
Right.
here in the fields, you know. We're one with everything, and that's what life is. That's,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Now, you know, I've done a lot of research on the tarot card and when it was first written in history and oracle cards, but we don't have time to go into that today. But you
Oh, I did
have,
not know that. So I would love to
of
have,
course I have.
I know that you research everything. So
I do.
yeah, I would
So,
love that. We'll have to do that another time, get the story on the background of the tarot cards.
absolutely, absolutely. So I think this is a good time for an activation meditation, which I look forward to all the
Oh
time.
my gosh. And they always come up and I think, what am I seeing here? I'm seeing the wind, which I see a lot of. And I see the world and I see it. And look at that. It's like there's an old world and a new world. And there's this beautiful sun. Yeah, it feels good to me.
Rona.
Yeah, the corona. It all feels good. Oops. Oh, I hope you can get by me. The hay people, the people who are haying are just going by me. Don't stop and talk. Not right now.
This is fabulous.
And don't run over me. We'll give this just a minute.
This is fabulous. See, this goes with our whole theme of like not taking ourselves so freaking seriously, right? We're about to do
Yes.
spiritual meditation activation, and the hay machine is going by.
Well, at least they didn't stop and talk. Uh,
They're like, "What is she doing?" They probably thought you're squatting and peeing there by your car or something.
oh my God. They probably, well, I'm on a chair though.
Well, they're not sure what that's about, so they're like, "Just keep going. That lady's a little crazy."
Oh my God. Okay, so we've got to go for laughter. So
Oh boy.
let's everybody take a breath and we'll see where the universe takes me today. And see if we can get this done before the noise of all the haying equipment starts. So take a deep breath. Breathe into your heart, because that's the world that we're creating right this moment. It's a heart world that's full of peace, love, joy, and abundance. It's always been here, but we've been taught that it wasn't. Take another deep breath. Let your heart light. Remember, that's whatever color you see. Feel your heart. Feel your body. And know that it's joined by the golden white light of the Christ within, always. And there is no shortage of this light. This light flows through you constantly. All you have to do is every once in a while acknowledge it. And so we're this light that's flowing from us. It has flowed and created an egg shape around us. And we're just relaxing in this light. And even with the parameters, we know our light's even going further, and that it is saturating Mother Earth and all her inhabitants. And as it saturates the Mother Earth, it transmutes fear to unconditional love. So while we're on this little voyage, we're actually allowing the light, adding our light to the light that's being shined on the earth. We're actually assisting in the transmutation of fear. So now we can look down on the earth, and I see just this one little section, and I am hearing laughter, I am hearing music, I am hearing dancing, I'm seeing dancing. Oh my goodness. And you know, there's a breeze. Absolutely, there is a breeze. And there's there's communication in this breeze. People do not even have to talk. We're laughing. We don't have to talk. There's this joy that's being communicated through the wind. And oh gosh, there's eagles. Oh my goodness. Eagles all over. And they're bringing messages. Yep, they're communicating with us. They're bringing even greater messages from the heavens down to where we are. This is our new earth. This is our new earth. We get to live our passion. We get to do nothing when we don't want to do anything. We get to rest in the beautiful waters, cool streams. There's always time. There is always time. Because when we love ourselves, we have so much to give others. So remember that, and remember that no matter how we do it, whether we take walks, whether we read good books that are simply entertainment, or whether we watch a funny TV show, whatever we do that makes us laugh or makes us feel joyful, we want to do that. That's how we become who we came here to be. That's how we are what we need to be to others. We not only shine our light, but our joy goes out. Soon people are hearing laughter, and they want to be part of that. It's like hearing a baby laugh, a toddler. It's unbridled. It's from the heart. And that's who we are. We need to go back to the innocence, being in the moment. Most of us, if we are in the moment, there is nothing to worry about. We are clothed, we are fed, we have a roof over our heads. We have friends. We are in the moment. And we want this for everyone. Because when there is world peace, when there is peace, there must be world peace. We are all one. And as we leave this activation, we will have our mindset to where we will hear laughter, to where we may not have heard it before. We will catch a neighbor child laughing. And we will love that. We will join in that, not knowing anything, but that it's laughter. So take another deep heart breath. Bring the joy into your heart. Bring the love into your heart with your inhales. And then exhale all that joy out to the world. There's more than enough. There's more than enough. You can't run out of it. You can't run out of the light. You cannot run out of joy. You cannot run out of laughter. So know that in your hearts. Know that we are creating a new world this very moment with our joy. And so it is.
So it is. Thank you for that wonderfully good news, my friend.
You are so welcome. You are so welcome. Thank you for the laughter today.
Till next time. Namaste.
Namaste.